Welcome to FBB Forum. I'm very pleased to welcome the stunning IFBB Pro Women's Physique and Masters competitor, Melanie Horton, who is from Canada. And she just competed at the Tampa Pro this past weekend. And she was kind enough to join me for just a quick, brief follow-up interview and just talk about how the show went and talk about her upcoming short-term future plans too. So thank you so much for joining me, Melanie. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me again, David. It's always good to talk to you.
Thank you. It's nice to get to meet you in person too at the show.
Yeah, that was great.
We were just talking about, I forgot to get a picture with you. Totally, my brain wasn't working, so sorry about that.
I'm like that too at these shows. You always say, "Oh, I should have got a photo with this person and that person." But
Oh, I know. Yeah, I don't know. I just get so wrapped up in the show and you forget.
yeah, a lot going on.
I know, that's true. Now, so tell me, how did you place in the Masters divisions and the Open divisions in Tampa?
So Masters, I did over 55 and over 50. I was second in over 55 and third in over 50. So Robin Mays won both those divisions. I've competed against her again. She's an amazing athlete, so it's always fun to compete with her, and she's really nice. We got to chat backstage and wished her luck. She'll be at Masters Olympia in a couple of weeks, so I think she's going to make a strong appearance there as well. And then I did the Open just because I'm there. And I was in third call outs. I think it ended up 14th in the group. So that's it was a pretty stacked lineup. So
Yeah.
so yeah, it was good. But overall, the experience for me was a really good one. So yeah, I came away with a lot of good lessons, good memories, and yeah, it's a great experience.
That's terrific. Yeah. Yeah. Robin is really great. It's great that she, and I've seen her win some Masters divisions recently too. Yeah. She's in good shape.
Yeah, got
Yeah.
beautiful structure, good
Yeah.
muscularity, and yeah, and her posing's great. So yeah, she's a great representative for the Masters division for sure, and the Open too. So
That's
she was
true.
third in Open. Yeah, yeah.
Third and Open. Yeah, that's right. That
Yeah.
was really good. I remember that. Yeah. Um, Now I was curious, how did you like your time in Tampa? Did you enjoy it? Did you get to check out any sites while you're here?
Yeah, it was good. Not too much. That's typically the way it is with these shows. But we arrived. So my coach was traveling with me, Jody Boom. We arrived on the Wednesday. Just went over to MI40 gym, so not too much in the way of sightseeing. The hotel where they had the event, the Grand Hyatt, was a beautiful spot. So had a really nice room overlooking the bay.
Nice.
So yeah, I didn't see too much, didn't get out to too many restaurants, but yeah, it's nice. Tampa's a nice spot for sure. I'd like to go back.
Oh yeah. MI40 is kind of a legendary gym, isn't it? That's really well
It
known.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
Grand Hyatt is beautiful. It's right on the water, right on Tampa Bay, and yeah, beautiful sights there. And
That's
yeah,
gorgeous. Yeah.
you can even see some cool wildlife there out on the water there, so it's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Now you mentioned bringing Jody Boom, and she just won her division in fitness at Chicago, I believe. So she'll be going to the Olympia this year. How long have you been working with her as a coach?
Uh, Working with Jody, I started last year. She was my posing coach. So she put together my choreography for my routine and we worked together. I think leading into all my shows last year. So again, she's right here locally and watching her kind of coach her other athletes at other shows. She's very invested in all the girls she coaches, mostly girls. So she has a lot of fitness athletes, but also women's physique. I think she's got figure and some other divisions. Coaches quite a few pros. So we got talking, and then in the off season, I just decided to hire her as my prep coach, and it's just been a really good fit for me. So yeah, it's a good. Really happy with how things turned out in Tampa, and looking forward to the next competition. So
That's terrific. Yeah, and you guys are both Canadians
we are, yeah, yeah,
in Ontario.
yeah. Yeah,
That's
so she's
great.
going back to the Olympia in fitness. She's been there in women's physique as well. But
That's
yeah,
cool.
I think she'll, you'll likely see her hopefully top 3 at the Olympia this year.
That'd be terrific. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did she have some injuries recently? I think.
She did I think the last Olympia she did, she was there but had to withdraw kind of last minute because of an injury.
Um,
And then she had a baby, so she's taken a
oh,
couple of years off, but she's back. So
that's terrific. Yeah. Those fitness ladies with their routines are just all the
it's insane, right?
it is all the
It's
flipping
crazy.
and seems like you're inevitably going to get an injury doing that, you know.
Yeah. It's funny,
Yeah.
we've trained in the gym a few times and there's no, I usually train, my workouts usually last a little over an hour, the weight training portion of the workout anyway.
Yeah.
Um, and that's pretty good for me. I get a good, I get done what I need to in that amount of time.
Hmm.
And when I've trained with Jody, she could go like to probably 3 hours on the
Wow.
weights. So the fitness girls have a lot of stamina. So,
Wow, that's
yeah,
amazing.
it's
Yeah.
impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing what they do with all the jumps and the flips and
Yes.
just
Yeah.
seems like broken bones maybe sometimes,
Yeah.
dislocated hips or something, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um one thing that was kind of interesting that came up was my friend Dave had sent a video of the 1996 Canadian Nationals, and it reminded me that you've got one of the longest longevity of the sport, you know, of anybody pros that are currently competing. I think you and Michelle Brandt are the two longest. But that's really cool. Could you tell me about that longevity? That's almost like kind of like a source of pride, I would think.
Yeah. And I have to thank you for that, for connecting David in that video. I hadn't seen it, and it just brought a huge smile to my face. And the routine especially was kind of funny to watch. Um, and yeah, just the old, plain posing suits we used to have, the sort of the tans, everything was a lot different back then. But I could tell watching the video, a little bit of nerves I could see, but also how much I loved competing and loved bodybuilding.
Yeah,
Um, and I still have that today. So I'm just really fortunate I can still do this. And, that competition was, I think that was 96. So that's, a long time ago.
I
So,
know. Going almost 30 years now. That's really impressive. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And that's, if you're able to kind of keep making improvements and you enjoy doing it and can still be competitive or at least not be out of place. I think it's, this just doesn't get me better than that. Right.
That's terrific. Yeah, I think that's great. And I think you're an inspiration to many, for competing for so long like that. I think that's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, what show do you have plans for next? Where would you like to compete?
So I had wanted to do my first pro win as masters was in Daytona
Hmm.
in 2021. I had planned to go back there last year, but there was a hurricane, so
Oh,
our
yeah.
flights were grounded out of Canada, and I wasn't able to make it there last year.
Hmm.
So I definitely have that on my calendar. Spoke to Mike Matazza, the promoter. He was at Tampa. So told him I'll definitely be there. They've same kind of format as Tampa. They have the Masters, I think Friday evening, and then the Open and Women's Physique they've added on the Saturday. So that's September 30th. And
Yeah,
then going to meet with Jody this week just to sort of go over the plan and see if I might want to do something else before that. There's a couple coming up. There's the Pittsburgh World Masters, I think
yeah.
in 3 weeks. There's another Masters show in Florida in I think Fort Walton Beach, that I've heard is a great show. It's just oddly there's not a direct flight there for me,
Yeah. It's a little
and
hard to
it's really
get to.
expensive to fly there. So
Yeah, that's
um,
true.
yeah, but Daytona's the focus definitely, and yeah,
That's great.
back to Florida.
I hope to attend that show, and I think it's great that they added women's physique open
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
The only challenging thing is it's the same day as Rising Phoenix and the
yes,
Phoenix Pro
yeah,
and stuff. So, um,
yeah,
but I think it's kind of good, West Coast and East Coast shows, and I think it's going to be a really good show this year for sure.
yeah. He does a great job with getting sponsors and treats the athletes really well. So it was a good experience when I was there before, and really looking forward to that. So
It is unfortunate timing because of hurricane season, because
yeah,
September is a very busy hurricane season time in Florida. So yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
We found that out last year. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Daytona got hit really hard too by the hurricane for sure. So it's like,
they did. It was crazy. Yeah.
yeah, houses getting swept into the ocean or close to it. So it was, yeah, not
You,
good.
you still had the show last year. But there's also an amateur show with it. And I think it was mostly local, people that were able to drive there. The
Hmm.
Daytona airport was closed. So they kept
Hmm.
changing my flights. And then eventually I was going to be flying in kind of the day of the competition. I said, okay, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's kind of disappointing because you put so much time and effort into getting
Yeah.
ready for a show, and then but yeah, no, yeah, Mother Nature has different
Yeah.
plans sometimes, you know.
I had Reno, the Legion Sports Fest the following week. So it was it was fine. I was ready to go, and we just sort of shifted to that was the plan anyway.
Oh,
So
good.
that was
Okay.
yeah.
So that worked out good. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good show too.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
And I think it's the same timing. It's like the week after
It is. Yeah.
it's in Daytona. Yeah, so that'll be
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Now one thing you had mentioned about possibly moving to bodybuilding division, or are you still thinking about that maybe or?
It's funny. A couple of people asked me, and I think you've seen me in person. So and my Instagram, I go by Mini Mel, and
Uh-huh.
I'm small, like I'm mini.
Yeah.
But my physique's compact. And it's when I look at especially the masters bodybuilding, I thought I could probably, I know I would love to jump in that division at some point, but so maybe next year I'll look at the masters women's bodybuilding. We'll see. But
That's great. I think
the
you're
odd
doing
time when I'm
well.
posing with Jody, I'll accidentally go into my brain will remember the old bodybuilding poses, and I'll go to
Oh, I see.
yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be a good move for you. I could see you doing well in the bodybuilding division.
Yeah, that's I always take that as a huge compliment because that's I love that division a lot.
Oh
I
yeah.
like them both. I mean, I like them both a lot. So,
No, I think you would do well. Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to see.
yeah.
I just had, one last question for you. We talked a little bit about Masters Olympia, and I'm sorry that you didn't get invited this year, but perhaps maybe next year. But if you could talk a little bit about Masters Olympia.
Yeah, so that's I had kind of had my heart set on that for the first year that they're bringing it back. It'll be
Mhm.
in Romania in 3 weeks. So I was pretty open about my desire to be there.
Mhm.
But you know what? There was a huge amount of interest, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
And the committee that selected the athletes, there's lots of factors that go into it. So my name didn't make the list, but that doesn't mean, I won't have an opportunity next year. We don't know yet whether it'll be by application and invitation again, or
Okay.
if they're going to, look at Masters Pro wins, or how exactly they're gonna set it up for next year, or where it'll be. But I'll definitely take another run at it and just keep trying. Hopefully, I'll make it on the list for next year. And yeah,
That's great.
and excited. I have a lot of friends or uh, women I've competed with, both in the women's bodybuilding and in physique, that are going. So really excited to see how they do. I was happy to see Ivy. That was one of the best parts of competing in Tampa, was Ivy Rain, who kind of got to know, and she was up here in Toronto a couple years ago and won. And
Oh
so
yeah.
sharing the stage with her was pretty special and surreal, because she's obviously somebody I look up to a lot as one of the best in our division.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I like
so I
her
think
too.
I think she's probably, she would be the heavy favorite for Masters Olympia.
Yeah.
Uh, my good friend Tanya Chartrand's going to be competing, which is great.
Oh
So
yeah.
Robin Mays, that we talked about, she'll be there.
Great.
Yeah, I can't think of them all, but there's a lot. Of course, Michelle Brandt, excited to see her. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Michelle's been looking good on Instagram. She's looking really good with some of the training clips that she's posted. So,
she
yeah,
looks great. Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
terrific.
yeah. So I think it'll be fun to watch. I think it'll be, there's a lot of really high caliber athletes, at least in the divisions that I follow pretty closely. And
Yeah.
uh, in the men's open, another fellow I know, Ken Jackson,
Hmm.
who lives in Michigan, he's going to be he's looking phenomenal too. So I think it'll be a good show.
Yeah,
Hopefully next year I'll be there.
I hope so. Yeah, definitely. I hope you did definitely get invited next year, or get qualified too. I am glad that it's kind of come back. I think it's going to be a really excellent show.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just the buzz around it. There's so much buzz about that show right now. So I think it's great.
Yeah, and the Masters, I mean, the Chicago was fairly small at least in physique and bodybuilding for the Masters groups, but this Tampa was, I thought, a pretty decent turnout.
Yeah.
And we'll see, there's a few more Masters shows coming up this year, so it's a really popular division, I guess you call it that.
Yeah.
Lots of interest and lots of really good caliber competition. So yeah,
I
it's
was
good.
impressed with Tampa with the open divisions too. That just definitely a better turnout than some of the other shows this year, I think. So that was really pleased to see that.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, both the women's bodybuilding and women's physique had really strong lineups, I think. So that's fantastic to see. I'm sure Texas is going to be, they don't have the bodybuilding there, but I'm sure the women's physique, because of the prize money that Sarah Villegas puts up, will be very stacked. But,
I know. I was thinking that too. That's great
yeah.
about that additional prize money and
Yeah,
incentive too. Yeah.
so that's something I can probably tell you here. You'll be the first to hear it.
Yeah.
So I actually spoke to Sarah a couple months ago because she kind of inspired me with the Women of Distinction Award that she created and the prize money.
Mhm.
So I told her, I said I'd like to do something like that for Women's Physique Masters, with some prize money, and so that's what I'm looking at doing for next year.
Great.
So talk to Mike and may do that for the Daytona show. Have that prize there. So
Oh, very nice. That's terrific. Oh,
that's a teaser, and I'll keep you posted on how that develops.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It was a little exclusive. Thank you so much.
Be a nice little legacy to have.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's a great idea. Daytona is a good place to do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you. Well, thank you so much, Melanie. I really appreciate you speaking with me again. And we'll get this posted up on YouTube relatively soon here. But thank you and best wishes to you later this year and next year for sure. And we'll definitely be in touch.
Thanks. Good talking to you. And hopefully we'll see you in Daytona.
That sounds good. Yeah, I plan on being there. So I'll definitely come.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.